Hi everyone, this is Chanchal S. Kumar and welcome to Chanchal's World. Today I'm here with a book review. So before we get into the book review, I would want to remind you that we also do have a blog, chanchalsworld.com, wherein I have posted in all my artwork, all my stories, poetries, blogs, vlogs, all my book reviews and such. So please do visit chanchalsworld.com, and if at all you wish to contact me, we do have a contact page wherein you can leave your message and I will get back to you. So back to the video. Today I'm going to review a book by an Indian author which was marked as the best-selling book in India. Before I get into the review, I would want to discuss a little about mythologies. India being a vivid country with vivid cultures and heritages, it is obvious that India would have mythologies that are world-renowned. Ramayana, Mahabharata are a few examples of such world-renowned mythologies. These stories, like the Ramayana or the Mahabharata, are believed to be true by a huge number of people who follow the religion of Hinduism. Well, have you ever wondered, when a huge number of people believe in these stories, why are these stories termed as mythology? The reason being, these stories have incidences or instances which are inhuman in nature. Let me tell you an example. Lord Krishna is a deity we believe is a god, and in his story called the Krishna Leela, which is also a mythology, there is an incident where he lifts a mountain with his pinky finger. Quite inhuman when thought about it now. So there are many innumerous incidents which are inhuman in nature in these stories, which made the historians believe them to be mythologies. Mythologies as in stories that actually did not happen, but people believe it as tales. So when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me these stories and I was quite fascinated because I was thrilled to be a part of a culture where we had superheroes. And as I grew up, I was introduced to different works of the writers and philosophers, and even though every single one of them have their own styles of writing, have their own style of describing their thoughts or ideas, one thing common I found in them was exaggeration. Especially when it comes to philosophers, they have a habit of exaggerating their thoughts. Of course, writers of this era had the style of writing which was exaggerated, but quite understandable for the readers to understand what and how they have exaggerated them. Then I started thinking that maybe when the time these incidents had happened, there was a system of people writing the stories of their kings, like as inscriptions and manuscripts to basically keep a record of what has happened. And during the time, education was not up to mark to today's or present world, as you know. So people would definitely want the person ruling them to be absolutely powerful or absolutely inhumanly superior to them, because everyone has pride. So maybe I think it was the ruling people's style of proving it to the people they rule that they were inhuman in nature, and so they had powers normal or commoners cannot imagine, and thereby they were in every way eligible to protect them. So I believe these mythologies were their style of ensuring the people around that they were in safe hands. Even in an educated society as the present, superstition does persist. So in an era like that, where there were innumerous unanswerable phenomena and education was minimum or to almost close to nil, superstition must be a major way of living. And in an era like that, when people are scared of the unknown, the ruling class had these way of telling them that they had the power to protect them even if such superstition actually happened. So even though it is believed as mythology, I, being a Hindu myself, believe these are stories that have actually happened, but definitely in a more human way, even though I believe that these mythologies are a little too exaggerated. So as an answer to my thoughts, I was introduced to this book, The Immortals of Meluha. This book is written by Amish Tripati, an Indian author whose style of writing was absolutely applauded by almost everyone after the release of this book. This book is actually a series of 3 books. The series are called Shiva triology. Shiva is a very important god of Hindus, and we believe him to be the god of death. Of course, there are mythologies connecting to him as well, and these books, these series of books, that is the Immortals of Meluha, and there are 2 other books. This series contains 3 books, explains this mythology in an absolute human way. What actually fascinated me about this book first is the style of writing. It's so amazing that it can actually make you sit for hours reading this book without even knowing the time. Absolutely amazing style of writing. And the next part that absolutely fascinated me is the story. I believe in Lord Shiva, and when the whole world calls him to be a mythology, to read a book that basically explains him to be a human, all the mythology, all the incidents in the mythology explained in a very human and believable way, is a very soothing point that I really liked about this book. As you can see, this is the cover. The character in the cover is Lord Shiva. As you can see, a trident here. We believe that to be the weapon of Lord Shiva, that is the Trishul. So this book is of around 415 pages. 415 pages, yes. And this book doesn't just have the story of this book, that is Immortals of Meluha. It has 1 chapter which is a peekaboo into the next book in the series, The Secret of the Nagas. If you read this book, there are a lot of unanswered questions or mysteries that has to be solved, or which you would be curious about, like who is Naga, and many such doubts which will arouse once you start reading this. And definitely will go in for the second book, because the curiosity this book creates is immense. And also Amish Tripati has given a glossary here which would describe words like Agni, Agni Pariksha, then you have Ankush, Anshan, Apsara, Arya. What is the meaning of these words? If you're not familiar with Indian terms, these glossary would definitely help you understand what is the content of this definite book. So a complete recommendation. I would say I started reading after a huge break, and this was the first book I read once I started reading. Perfect book to get me glued back to books again. I got it from Amazon. It was just 300 rupees from Amazon. A definite recommendation for everyone who believes in mythologies and would want to know how mythologies could have been absolutely human in nature and believable. So hope you like this video. I will be making another book review with the second and the third series together to tell you how the rest of the series actually came out to be.